Northwest here. Hope you enjoyed that little intro I made. Thought it'd be kind of funny to do that. Commercial used to bombard me several times an hour when I was watching TV when I was younger, but yeah, that was just something fun to do. I went to on this past Saturday on Record Store Day. There was the biannual book sale that takes place on that same day. It just happened to coincide with Record Store Day, and with this place, it's a warehouse sale that's only open twice a year, basically. And they have records also, and CDs, and videos, and books, and games, and any kind of media, basically. And it's just a really cool sale. Everything's super, super cheap. People come in from out of state. It's one of the 10 best sales in the country, supposedly. And, people come in from out of state and spend the entire weekend just buying stuff. And it's a madhouse. People line up, camp out, a day in advance to be the first to get in the door on Saturday morning. So I was kind of conflicted as to whether I wanted to, wait in line for Record Store Day or go to the book sale, and I chose to go to the book sale just because, I'm kind of not 100% on board with how Record Store Day is managed. So I'll get into that in another video. I'll do a Record Store Day video, and I'll get into my feelings about that. But this video is about the book sale, and I'm going to go ahead and share all the stuff I bought on the first day. And starting off with, yes, I actually bought Freedom Rock, just mostly for the kitschy value of this, just seeing the commercials all the time. And I think this is one of the last sort of, music collection as seen on TV sort of deals where they actually offered records as well as CDs and cassettes. I picked this up. It was $2.50, so it's kind of still overpriced, but it was cheaper than you would have paid back in the '80s for this. But I bought it purely for the comedic value and just something to have. So starting off with this, the first batch of records, most of the records are $1 or less. They start off at a quarter, they go to 50 cents, and then 75 cents, and then $1. And then there's a few that they'll mark above $1, just more nicer things. The people who set up the sale obviously know a little bit about records to know what's better than other things, and they can mark some things a little bit higher. They usually mark things up to about $3. But like I said, most everything is below $1. So we'll start off with these are 50-cent records. I just got a sort of a self-titled Harry Belafonte record. I was trying to find out some information about this. It's sort of an early 70s record, 73, and I've listened to some of this, and it's pretty bad, actually. This is well after his prime, but I do collect Harry Belafonte records, and so I had to add this one in. Still in shrink, so I won't have to buy it again. So it's a nice record, but yeah, if you want to get into Harry Belafonte, this is not where to start at all. It's pretty bad. Next up, we got Young MC, I Come Off, 12-inch single. I do like collecting old school hip hop, and it's funny, the fall sale in October, I guess it was October, somewhere around October, I found a lot more hip hop than I did this time. It just depends. Every sale is different. Just depends on what donations have been made. We did have a used record store close down several months ago in town here, and they donated most of their records to the sale. So a lot of stuff from that store were in the sale. So there was a lot of older records and that's just seemed to be how things went this time. But so we have a Kingston Trio self-titled album. It's just a pretty clean copy. I'm just replacing some of this Kingston Trio stuff I have already, because a lot of it has split seams and stuff on the jacket. So I'm just replacing things with better copies, and for 50 cents I'll go ahead and do that. Have a nicer copy. You know, I'm into the older, early folk music. And we got another Kingston Trio. Here we go again. This is a stereo pressing. Once again, very nice. No tears on the seams. Nice and clean cover. Really good condition. So that'll be my nice collector copy. And then we have the Dueling Banjos soundtrack for Deliverance. One of my favorite movies of all time. Most people really misunderstand what that movie is about, and it's all they sort of all they see is the rape scene, and that's not really what the movie is. But the movie kind of gets a bad rap based on that one scene, and it's a great movie, and I love it, so decided to pick that up. And next up, we got a soundtrack to Octopussy. This is from 1983, and this is a Roger Moore. Bond. I'm wanting to collect Bond soundtracks and vinyl, so picked up any ones I see. So I got this one. And then we got the soundtrack to Thunderball. And the main title to this is sung by Tom Jones. Thunderball, of course. And something kind of interesting. This is the underwater scene from the movie, and all the underwater fight scenes from the movie, from Thunderball, and a couple other of the Bond movies were filmed at a spring just about a half an hour south of me here, called Silver Springs, near Ocala, Florida. And all the underwater scenes for this movie, a lot of other movies were filmed there. The TV show Sequest, I think it was filmed there. The old Tarzan movies from way back in the 30s were filmed there. Just a really popular place to do filming. They do a lot of commercials there and stuff. But anyway, anytime you see an underwater fight scene in a Bond movie, it's filmed in a spring in Florida, in fresh water. So just thought that was interesting, and it was cool to find this with the artist's rendition of that scene on here, and it's sort of a local treasure to us. So that was interesting. I gotta start moving a little bit faster here. I got a lot to go through. Another copy of Muppet Movie soundtrack. I know I had this already, but it seems like mine was different in some way, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig my other copy out and see what it is. Another Grover Washington. Picked up a Soul Box a couple sales back, or actually no, I found that at a Goodwill. The Goodwill across the street. But love Grover Washington. Just really funky, jazzy, just awesome sound. So I'm gonna start collecting some more of his music. And I picked up this Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, still in shrink. Everybody says it's a must-have. I've kind of avoided it thus far, but it's one of those ones you always see everywhere. And now I have a copy, and it's minty, still in shrink, 50 cents. So if everybody says it's a must-have, I'll give it a try. And we got another Kingston Trio sold out. This is a stereo pressing also. Once again, just minty, perfect seams and perfect cover. So glad to be able to have a final copy of that. Another Kingston Trio close up. So stereo also. Just copy. And then we got the soundtrack to Miami Vice something I've been wanting. Didn't know how long it was going to take me to find. It was a pretty popular soundtrack, so I guess it's not too much of a surprise that it wasn't that hard to find, but just was glad to find it anyway. And soundtrack to Platoon. And then the last of the 50 Cent records, we have soundtrack to Ghostbusters. So I thought that was cool. Found a lot of soundtracks this time, so that was nice. Moving on, we got the next up we have the 75 Cent records. We have Elton John's Greatest Hits Volume 2. Just thought I would go ahead. This has a... This just has a booklet that comes with it. Has the lyrics and some pictures and stuff. But pretty nice to add to my Elton John collection. And we have Eurythmics 1984. This is actually the soundtrack to the movie 1984, which Eurythmics did the score for. So this is mostly instrumental songs from them. There's a few lyrics here and there, but it's mostly instrumental music for the movie. Pretty cool. And next up we have Eric Clapton, No Reason to Cry. He works with Bob Dylan on this and the band as well. And this is from 1976. And we got the soundtrack to Shaft. This is a quadraphonic copy, so I don't know how well quadraphonic sounds on stereo, but got a copy of Shaft anyway. 75 cents. Figure why not. And next up we got a Stanley Jordan album. This is Flying Home. And actually, I have heard that track before. I was listening to some Stanley Jordan on YouTube and going through some different stuff, showing some friends of mine how cool. He has a very unique style of playing, sort of a tapping style. He makes one guitar sound like several guitars, and it's really cool. But the title track is pretty cool. He does a rendition of Stairway to Heaven on here. But pretty cool. I want to pick up Stanley Jordan anytime I can find it for reasonable price. I got another copy of Days of Future Past, Moody Blues. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. I already have a really nice copy of this, but this is another really nice copy, still in shrink, 75 cents. So just picked up an extra copy of it. Figure it would be nice to have a backup of it. And then next up we have Dave Mason is Alive. And this album was released at a point in his career when he was having a dispute with his label. So this was just some material he had recorded, and the label went ahead and released it and made the cover and everything of it. He's sort of in the crosshairs here, sort of. It's kind of funny, but yeah, this was released basically without his permission. So who knows how good these recordings are, and who knows what they did with the mixing and everything on it. But I didn't know that at the time. But I just thought it was Dave Mason. I'd go ahead and pick it up. And then we have Joni Mitchell's Count and Spark. This is her best commercial album. This is from 1974. But I do like Joni Mitchell, so I went ahead and picked that up. And next up we got Tomita Cosmos. This is from 79, 78. And I picked up a Tomita album, I believe from the last sale. It was him doing Holst the Planets. Tamita is a early electronic musician. Um, and this one he does a Star Wars theme and really cool stuff. I really do like the music, and the cover to this one is really cool. I like the cover on this one. Art is really pretty. Really nice copy. So get that. Okay, then we have next up we have Everything But the Girl, Love Not Money. This is their second album. Did not do very well commercially. This is a promo, but just didn't do well. I didn't even realize that this band had been around this long. You know, they released an album 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought it was kind of a good album at the time. I listened to it, and I just didn't realize that they had been around this long, since the '80s. So this was pretty cool. I'll give it a listen. Like I said, didn't do too well commercially, but it's gonna be interesting to hear some of the early stuff. And then just a really clean Still and Shrink copy of Piano Man. I know the one I have is pretty beat as far as the cover goes, so nice minty Still and Shrink copy. And we got Leon Russell, Will-O-the-Wisp. Pretty cool cover there, like that. And we have another Tamita. This is live at Lynn's, 1984. The Mind of the Universe. And this is kind of an outdoor concert he gave on the Danube River, where they had like speakers set up on both sides of the river, and then they had a helicopter flying over the middle of the river with speakers hanging from it, and it's kind of an insane, like there was laser light show that went along with it, and it sounds like a pretty insane concert. The reviews I've read online say you can actually hear the helicopter in the recording of this, so from a musical standpoint, it was kind of not so good to be out, outdoors like that. But I'm gonna have to see if I can find a video of this concert just to see sort of the spectacle of it all and try to understand it better. But it'll be interesting to give a listen to, just to see. And we got another Grover Washington, Wine Light. Kind of a cheesy looking cover there, but who knows, could be good, could be bad. 75 cents. And then we have a nice copy of the Moody Blues, Every Good Boy Deserves a Favor. Moody Blues, and they always have beautiful album artwork and beautiful music. So that was a nice find. Next up, we got Robin Trower's Live. I've seen a couple other people show this one recently, but I found this one. This has got 2 Rolling Stoned on it, and so I heard he's pretty amazing live. I think I have this is recorded in Sweden, in Stockholm, in 1975. And a very nice copy of Harry Belafonte's second album. This is a self-titled album, but it's his second album. Most people think it's his first. This is his second. It's a mono copy, but it's just super, super clean. So I really couldn't pass it up at all. And then a copy of Kingston Trio's Going Places. Perfect Seams, again, really clean cover. Just found a lot of this late 50s, early 60s stuff that was just in great shape, so they almost came out of the same collection. So I was happy to find those all for a reasonable price, to get some upgraded copies to stuff I already have. And we have Barry White, I Love to Sing, on 20th Century Fox, and he had already signed a new deal with CBS at the time, and CBS released an album, another newer album than this, basically at the same time, newer recordings, because he had switched companies. So this was kind of overlooked because he had a newer album, and his new record company CBS was promoting it more. So this got overlooked, but it's Barry White. It should be a few good songs on here. Interesting to listen to anyway, just to hear it.